This is quite unique, being the last in the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari.
We believe that a thriving democracy is what a professional military requires.
Nigeria holds Democracy Day celebration with pomp, hope for a better tomorrow.
The only way we can defeat insurgents is to strengthen the resilience of the community.
Kirawa community in Goza local government area of Borno State resurgent from scars of insurgents.
For Moses Simon with a terrific ball in, and it's headed to the net. Strength here, Osimhen is in again. Osimhen for his trick this time, surely.
10-0, South Chone and Principe feel the claws over Super Eagles. Good evening and thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I am Elizabeth Omori. Michael Olale joins us from Lagos. Welcome. You can follow this news broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live and all our social media platforms displayed on the screen for updates. Activities commemorating 23 years of unbroken democracy in Nigeria were rounded off with a colorful military parade at the Eagle Square, Abuja. President Muhammadu Buhari, who was the special guest of honor at the significant and remarkable event that last to be organized by his administration. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo has details on that.
The Eagle Square in the heart of Abuja, Nigeria capital city, once again comes alive. It is a celebration of the country's unbroken democracy for 23 years. Since the rebirth of democracy in 1999, Nigerians have indeed been reaping its dividends, taking ownership of government, enjoying the attendant freedom, and most importantly, taking pride in the country's recognition as a force to reckon with globally. The armed forces of Nigeria and indeed the police share in the joy. For President Muhammadu Buhari, who has been in charge of affairs of the country for the past 7 eventful and impactful years, is celebrating the day for the last time as Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. He was joined in solidarity by, amongst others, former President Goodluck Jonathan, as well as Ambassador Babagana Kingibe, one of the heroes of the June 12 struggle.
Quite pleased that we are celebrating Democracy Day today, and we have to make sure that we imbibe in all what we do should be a part of our culture to be democratic. No matter the flaws people have, we are not under the control of guns. So you know when the government is winning, you know when the government is losing. Even that alone is significant.
June 12th was the day that Nigerians buried all their dividing lines. They came together and decided unanimously, almost, on their future.
This is quite unique, being the last in the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. He has built and sustained the momentum of entrenching democracy in this country. And I believe that by the time we go the route of 24 years, we would have consolidated on all the gains of democracy.
Parliament, without doubt, is one of the greatest symbols of democracy. But how far has Nigeria's National Assembly fared in promoting and preserving the nation's democratic enterprise?
I can say that National Assembly has come of age, and we have been contributing to good governance and national development since 1999, passing very critical legislations, and even the previous National Assemblies have done so much.
For us in the armed forces, we remain quite delighted because we believe that a thriving democracy is what a professional military requires to build its competencies for us to be able to play its constitutional roles, which is the territorial defense of our dear nation. The military has no reason whatsoever to return to political governance.
This is the 4th time the 12th of June is celebrated as Democracy Day in Nigeria, made possible by President Muhammadu Buhari as part of the process of healing, reconciliation and indeed atonement for the previous damage done in the annulment of the 1993 presidential election. And as some will say, even after he leaves office, the president will remain the greatest living heroes of June 12 struggle. In Abuja, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Still on the celebration, to defend my country is my duty, was the battle cry of the Nigerian Army Women Corps during the combat drill at the Eagle Square. However, the combined silent drill displayed by the armed forces and police carried a deeper, stronger meaning, which was apt for Democracy Day. Defense correspondent Najat Tijani reports.
Looks can be deceptive, but one should not be deceived by these combatants of the Nigerian Army Women Corps, an elite wing known for its security operations along the Kaduna-Abuja highway, among other duties. Strong, fast, and combating, these women are also a demonstration of the military's gender equality policy, which is significant on Democracy Day, as women clamor for more roles in governance. Similarly, this combined drill, though silent, speaks volumes. Made up of men and women of the armed forces of Nigeria and the Nigeria Police Force, it is a reflection of unity in diversity. As the silent drill marches on, it reminds spectators about answering the call of duty, dignity in labor, love for country. In this silent drill, one is also reminded that there is neither tribe nor religion, male or female, but only Nigerians, answering the call to serve the nation with dignity as symbolized by the Democracy Day celebration. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
Let's shift attention to electoral matters. As part of preparations towards ensuring a smooth conduct of the forthcoming Ekiti gubernatorial election, scheduled by the Independent National Electoral Commission to hold on Saturday, June 18, 2022, the Corps Marshal Federal Safety Corps Boboye Uyemi has ordered operatives of the Corps drafted to cover the election to ensure effective collaboration with the Nigeria Police Force, Independent National Electoral Commission and other security agencies in the enforcement of restrictions on vehicular movement. The cooperatives drafted are to exhibit the highest sense of professionalism, ingenuity and avoid any temptation that could lead to abuse of the rights of the electorate. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, has ordered the deployment of adequate police personnel, armored personnel, carriers, police, air wing, the Force Marine, mounted troops, K9 section and other operational assets for Ekiti governorship election. The Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Criminal Investigation Department, DIG Johnson Batunde Kokumo, is to supervise and coordinate the security components of the election. The Ekiti governorship election is just a few days away. Political parties and their candidates are in the last phase of campaigns. The election management body, INEC, is also engaging stakeholders on a hitch-free exercise. Joining us now from Ado Ekiti is the INEC National Commissioner for Information, Festus Okoye. Mr. Okoye, thank you so much for joining us on the news.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, from the umpire's perspective, is Ekiti good to go?
Yes, Ekiti is good to go. On the 28th day of May 2022, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission was in Ekiti State on what we call readiness assessment. And he visited 5 of the local governments. And in 5 of these local governments, it was very clear that we are fully ready for the election. All the non-sensitive materials have been backed in accordance with the 177 registration areas in Ekiti State. And then we also visited some polling units where we were doing mock accreditation. and it was very clear that the BVAS was working well. So in terms of deployment, we have deployed the non-sensitive materials. We have also trained the presiding officers, the supervisory presiding officers, and assistant presiding officers. So in terms of our preparations, the only thing that is remaining are the sensitive materials, which will arrive in by Wednesday this week.
All right, interesting to know that you've put measures in place. But let's talk about voter education. Can you enlighten us on what you've done so far, on what INEC has done so far to engage the people?
Well, the Commission has employed every available means to engage the people in relation to the governorship election. The chairman met with the Council of Traditional Rulers when he visited the state 2 weeks ago. We also met with all the electoral officers. We have had robust consultation with civil society groups and organizations. We are running adverts on the newspaper, on the radio, television, and we're also engaging all the community leaders in terms of getting them ready in relation to the processes and procedures of the Commission. And when we carry that mock accreditation in 12 polling units across the 3 senatorial districts, so many voters came out to test their PVCs, and it was very clear that the people are aware that a governorship election is taking place and are fully prepared to exercise their democratic franchise. There's a new resurgence in terms of people's confidence in the electoral process, and the people are confident that their votes will count, and the Commission will make their votes to count.
All right, talking about votes counting, will there be adequate measures to protect the sanctity of the ballot? This is very important.
Well, definitely. We've had the consultations with the various security agencies, both at the state level and also at the national level. And as you can see, both the Nigerian police force are deploying, the Federal Road Safety Commission and all the other security agencies are deploying. We are going to have a concentric circle of protection for the voters, for our electoral staff, and for our electoral materials. There will be an inner cordon and an outer cordon, and then the parameters of the state will also be protected. So in terms of security, we are confident that adequate security measures have been put in place to guarantee a free, fair, and inclusive election.
All right, Mr. Festus Okoye, I want to thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your contribution. All right, we pause now for some messages. The news continues shortly. To stay with the NTA. You're still watching the network news on NTA. Now, to economic matters, the African economy should be under pressure as a result of COVID-19, with different disruptions to business operations and governance. Discussions are, however, ongoing in Abuja, focusing on economic sovereignty, green growth, and industrial transformation. Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who joined other African leaders at the forum, is advocating more collaboration with the rest of the world in finding solutions to these economic challenges, citing the involvement of African youth in the technology sector as a good example. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, and the host President Alassane Ouattara of Cote d'Ivoire arriving at the venue of the African Chief Executives
before COVID hit.
Close to 2,000 local and international investors are sharing and exchanging ideas on how African countries can sustain their economies without relying much on foreign input.
Nigeria into focus.
At the plenary session, which features Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, President Nana Akufo-Addo of Ghana, and others from the private sector, observed that the opportunities created at this time could only be harnessed with the right policies.
So we've got to cooperate with the world. We've got to cooperate with the international tax system to ensure that we're able to derive maximum benefit. We've got to take our seat at the table and ensure that all of the various initiatives on international taxation favor us in Africa. So while we're looking inwards, we've got to be very careful to look outwards as well, because a lot of money is obviously being made by tech companies across the world. A a lot of our countries are, value creators.
Growing the African economy lies not only in the hands of policymakers, but also in the hands of the investors.
The war in Ukraine has exposed Africa, and it is not, something that, we should be lamenting about. It is a wake-up call. It is an opportunity for us, to step up, do more, and try as much as possible, to bridge the gap.
70 sessions dealing with various issues are scheduled to hold over the 2-day event. In Cote d'Ivoire, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
We're not done with economic matters yet, so we have a businessman ready with some updates from the business world. Musa, over to you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The federal government, through the Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Mariam Katago, has called on the World Trade Organization, WTO members, to work collectively to undertake reforms that will revitalize the organization and enhance its role in global economic policy making. The minister stated this at a session on challenges facing the multilateral trading system during the 12th World Trade Organization Ministerial Conference taking place in Geneva, Switzerland. The minister said Nigeria believes that members need to seek innovative solutions to the multifaceted challenges of the WTO to ensure it adapts to the evolving global socio-economic environment and remain relevant. And now to energy. While the equities market joined in the Democracy Day celebrations, all dropped Monday as a flare-up in COVID-19 cases in Beijing dented hopes of a Chinese demand rebound, while worries about more interest rate hikes to control rampant inflation added further pressure. Reuters report that Brent crude fell 1.7% to $119.96 per barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude declined 1.75% to $118.56 per barrel. Well, that's business news. Elizabeth, it's now over to you.
Thank you so much, Musa. Let's not talk health. Addressing challenges associated with albinism is achievable if all individuals unite with government in making the voices of persons with albinism heard in the country. This came to the fore as persons with albinism converged on Uyo, the Akwa Ibom state capital, to celebrate this year's International Albinism Awareness Day. Clement Barikwe reports.
Despite its occurrence around the world, across genders and ethnicity, albinism is still profoundly misunderstood. Findings reveal that people with albinism continue to endure marginalization, social exclusion, and violence in some societies due to the myth attached to albinism. Leveraging on the theme of the 2022 Albinism Awareness Day, united in making our voices heard, persons with albinism in Nigeria believe that with one voice, it is possible to end all forms of discrimination.
We are normal human beings created by God, that albinism is not a curse.
Support them. There's a lot of stigma, there's a lot of myths about albinism, there are a lot of things people believe about albinism that are simply untrue.
Ability to see far is another form of disability that we encounter.
The Nigerian government is not treating issues of persons with albinism with kid's glove, particularly with the national policy on albinism already in existence.
Giving proper intervention in line by government to albinism issues, giving us access to quality education.
People would now know that the myths surrounding albinism is all false.
The celebration had in attendance representatives of persons with albinism from across the country. In Uyo, Clement Barikwe, NTA News.
Away from health, Kirawa border community in Goza local government area of Borno State will be resettled in the next 3 weeks as rebuilding work has reached appreciable level. This was brought to the fore when Governor Babagana Umar Zulum visited the community to assess progress of work preparatory to its resettlement. Mohammed Goni reports.
Governor Zulum's administration has always emphasized that resettlement of displaced communities will hasten restoration of peace, which informed government's resolve to resettle displaced towns such as Warabi and Goshe in Goza local government. Each male head of household received 50,000 naira as take-up support to put their houses in order. An additional 50,000 will be added to them when they fully return home, while a bag of rice, maize, as well as clothing materials were also given to them. Similarly, each returning woman was also given 20,000 naira cash support, a fabric, and mat, while widows among them received gestures similar to their male counterparts, being the head of households. The returnees who are elated with the gesture said they can now pick up the pieces of their lives, having spent about 8 years in Cameroonian community.
We appreciate our governor for returning us back to Kirawa. We are ready to go back to our farms.
Governor Babagana Umar said government has put in place mechanism to ensure their safety, noting the presence of multinational joint task force, Nigerian Army and the civilian JTF.
We have constructed schools, and then the clinic is also under construction. Some of the houses were renovated, but we decided to empower the population so that they will rebuild their homes by themselves. The only way we can defeat insurgents is to strengthen the resilience of the community.
Chairman, Kirawari Settlement Committee, Hugo Dasale Vungas, applauded Governor Zulum for the efforts to ensure that people return to their ancestral homes in line with his electioneering pledges. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
Senator Magnus Abe and governorship hopeful in Rivers State has flagged off a people-driven movement tagged Project SMA 2023 to galvanize grassroots support towards his emergence as governor in the 2023 general elections. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
Senator Abe was accorded a heroic welcome at Port Harcourt International Airport on arrival from Abuja after the APC presidential primaries. Senator Abe renewed his commitment to run for the office of Governor of Rivers State and asked his supporters to follow him to his hometown to register in the project.
I will enjoin all registered voters in Rivers State. We want to have the option of picking a governor of their own choice to register.
At his country home, where he unveiled Project SMA 2023, Senator Abe said the initiative is intended for Rivers State people to sign an accord urging him to lead the state in the upcoming dispensation.
I am going to register Project SMA 2023. We will start a movement in Rivers State that will teach every politician in this country a lesson. When we finish what we are doing in Rivers State, nobody will impose anybody on anybody ever again. It will end here.
Senator Abe insisted that a viable state administration can only be feasible when Rivers State people come out to choose who lead them and not a few interest groups. In Port Harcourt, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
This is the network news on NTA, and it's time to join Michael in the mega city for more reports. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Elizabeth. Nigerians have been asked to ensure that the struggle by both living and dead heroes for a stronger and virile Nigerian society is sustained. The founder and president of Women Arise, Joe Oke Odumaki, stated this while speaking on the significance of the day to Nigerians. Annie Danos reports.
Joe Oke Odumaki stated that June 12th was a struggle against fraud, which she said characterized political transition before the annulled poll. She She explained that the historical event presents to Nigerians a status mark on the global timeline, where the citizens have been left behind, even by some African countries.
June 12 was about mandate protection, about free choice, about credible process. Elections will be coming very, very soon. Let us think about Kudirat Abiola, a woman, courageous, fearless, and Amazon that was assassinated. She stood firm and she never betrayed that June 12. We must be committed to mandate protection. We have a lot of people vying for offices. We can never complain if we are not part of the process. All those who died in the course of June 12 struggle, Abiola, and several other people who died, their death must never be in vain.
Odumaki says the struggle for a united Nigeria by MKO Abiola will remain unforgettable in history and recommends restructuring for a better Nigeria to emerge. Odumaki is sure June 12th offers Nigerians a template of struggle, sacrifice, endurance, and courage in the face of fire. She says the study of history as a course must be returned into school's curriculum. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
The celebration of June 12 has not only come to stay, but provides the template to a true democracy in Nigeria. Abolade Salami's report examines the impact of that process and claims to be the fairest in the country.
A credible, free and fair electioneering process cannot be mentioned in Nigeria without reference to June 1993 presidential elections that produced the acclaimed winner, late Moshood Kashimawo Olawale Abiola, and his running mate Babagana Kiwe under the Social Democratic Party (SDP). The process was not only adjudged the fairest ever, but gave Nigerians the opportunity to freely cast ballots for their preferred candidates without any fear or favor involving money movement, harassment, or being compelled under duress to vote. Nigerians at the time, irrespective of tribe, religion, or ethnic background, placed premium on fostering national unity, peace, and progress of their fatherland.
And it is important to stress that as we look at June 12th, it is important that we reflect on how we have ensured inclusion of every segment of society, both macro and micro nationalities. And when a particular section of the country feels disenfranchised, disengaged, marginalized, and excluded, then it's a call for action. And I hope that our political leadership will rise to the occasion and in their rhetoric foster unity, because our strength actually lies in no other national attribute than our unity as a country.
The reason for the brotherhood fraternity, political experts say, was to reclaim power from the military and return it to the people through their ballots. Unfortunately, the prior character in the democratic play of power, MKO Abiola, never lived to claim the prize of his victory at the ballots.
Moshood Abiola, as it was a chartered accountant. Let us get back to the drawing board before we get to the precipice. Bring back this country, bring back cohesion, bring back unity, bring back love into this national fabric. And I believe that it is achievable. There must be love dissipated throughout the country. The north, the south, the east, and the west. People must share in that vision of one nation.
29 years after, that struggle is still ongoing as Nigeria's democracy is still nascent. The umpire of the nation's democratic process at the ballots, Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), still grapples with basic challenges of electoral administration, while the candidates are seen to be on court at the place of victory, and the electorates continue to suffer abuse of their democratic rights.
So really must move now away from religious divides to a more nationalistic stand where anybody, wherever we're going to have leaders, we should forget about this representing me, representing that. No, whoever is capable should rule Nigeria, whether Muslim or Christian.
At this stage of democracy, observers' positions are diverse, with some major questions begging for answers. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Do not forget to follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Time now for some messages. The news continues shortly. Please stay.
Thanks for staying with us. After the successful conduct of the Special Presidential Convention of the All Progressives Congress, the APC Professional Forum, an integral organ of the party, says there's wisdom in the admonition of the leader of the party, President Muhammadu Buhari, to both winners and contenders to unite. Saliu Gwana reports.
As the party moves to the next all-important stage of galvanizing support ahead of the 2023 general elections, this forum is advocating the sustenance of unity of purpose that characterize the conduct of the party's presidential primary.
The forum thanks President Muhammadu Buhari for his non-interference in the process leading to the democratic and transparent convention that produced Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as APC's presidential candidate. The forum urges the party leadership to use the success of the primaries as a turning point to re-engineer APC as an ideological one, not just a platform to win elections.
Similarly, members of the stakeholders forum of the party who visited the party's national secretariat said all experienced, competent and credible members of the party should be considered worthy for leadership positions.
Present situation is about who emerged as the vice presidential aspirant of our great party. We are appealing to the president as well as the progressive governors and all critical stakeholders of the party to stand firmly and take a wise decision, because the most priority now is winning the election and maintaining the power.
The group wants politics devoid of tribal or religious sentiments. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
And it is no longer news that a two-term governor of Kebbi State and senator representing Kebbi Central at the National Assembly, Mohammed Adamu Aliru, and other top notches of the APC have defected to the PDP, a development that caused tongues to start wagging among the ruling party's family. Husman Abdullahi Shehu takes a look at the scenario and what it portends for the party as it prepares for the 2023 general elections.
Politicians in Nigeria are accustomed to movement from one political party to another, a development that is usually detected by time and space. Such a scenario recently played out in Kebbi State when some prominent APC members and numerous supporters defected from the ruling party to join opposition party PDP, the exodus that shook the political class in the state. Two-time governor of the state and the senator representing Kebbi Central, Muhammadu Adamu Aliru, alongside the Senate leader Yahya Abdullahi, were recently in the news for that reason.
We felt that the party doesn't need us. The only way out is for us to move out and go to where we are needed. And already, since our people are left out, there's no way we can continue to remain in this party.
Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, though the development is regrettable, it won't in any way affect the fortunes of the APC in the state come 2023.
I respect anybody living, but that is not to say I'm afraid or we are afraid. APC Kebbi State, by God's grace, is not worried, but we regret that somebody will leave, whoever that person is.
The party's public relations officer in the state has assured success to the ruling party.
We're not happy. We are determined, we are courageous enough to face the challenges because I've been doing it before. Don't forget, in 2011, when we have Sayyid Nasam as a governor, and all his lieutenants, they left PDP to CPC. We defeated them squarely.
With this recent energizing injection the major opposition party received in the state, one may not want to predict what will unfold in the 2023 general elections. Usman Abdullahi Shehu, NTA News.
Now a bit on peace building. The Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace has restated the resolve of religious leaders not to be deterred by the onslaught against people at worship centers and other members of different religious faiths across the country. The leadership of Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace made this known at a media conference in Abuja. Kenneth Nanim was there and now reports.
With the recent attack on worshippers at St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, Ondo State, kidnap of Methodist prelate in the southeast part of the country, and the gruesome killing of a pregnant woman and her 4 kids in Anambra State, as well as a series of adoptions and killings of men and other Nigerians in other parts of the country. The religious leaders are worried and therefore call on the government and the relevant authorities to show more commitment to ending insecurity in the country.
We call for decisive action against anyone guilty of kidnapping, banditry, or terrorism. We seek to be protected and safe as Nigerians. One of our great strengths and pride as a country has been religious harmony, tolerance, and freedom. This is manifested in our true religious liberty.
The forum is also calling on religious leaders to step up security and surveillance at worship centers, while urging government to ensure appropriate sanctions are meted on culprits.
We encourage tolerance, peace, patience, and interfaith harmony for sustainable growth. May peace continue to prevail in Nigeria.
The Interfaith Dialogue Forum for Peace is also raising concerns on the need for INEC to re-strategize in its operations to give room for eligible voters to collect their PVCs in order not to be defranchised in the 2023 general elections. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Time to return Nigeria back to its old landmarks of discipline, moral values and nobleness is an attempt to rebuild the nation. Key players say is now. This was the focus at an interactive session on the revival of Nigeria's moral values, the ethical dilemma at Democracy Day. Charles Alpha reports.
Desiring a change, the say begins with you. Returning Nigeria to its glorious days, they also say, requires a retrace of missed steps and the willingness of not just the leaders, but the families.
For us to move this country forward, for us to retrace our path, is a collective responsibility.
The Nigeria you're running from, you can build it too. After all, those countries built theirs.
Adidokun Francis Sunday, an Uber rider and a father of 3 boys, at about the age of his eldest son, learned to be disciplined enough to return what is not his. Few weeks ago, he returned a huge amount of money to a client who left it in his vehicle. A moral standard that is being taught these students here today.
When I saw the money, that doesn't mean that I don't need money or I'm not in a need of something like that. But what went through my mind was, if I make a use of this, what example am I laying down to the kids?
To many people, this idea is not realistic.
On the day when Nigeria marks Democracy Day, Civil Society for Ethic and Value Development is emphatic about charting a bold and new path for ethic and values in Nigeria.
How do we catch these children young and change their orientation that they will do the right thing? Ethics is about the right and the wrong.
It's all about leadership. If we have the right leaders, we can be able to help to at least correct some of the imbalances we have within our society.
Many of these students now see Francis, the Uber rider, as a reference point and are desirous of being a shining example with the right attitude. Charles Alpha, NTA News.
Now check more messages. The news continues shortly. Talking sports now, Super Eagles gave Nigerians perfect gift for Democracy Day celebration with an emphatic 10-0 to defeat Sao Tome and Principe in AFCON qualifiers. Details with Bade Adeleye on Sports Update.
Line for Moses Simon. Simon with a terrific ball in, and it's headed into the net.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria recorded their biggest win ever on Monday after a 10-0 whitewash by a hapless Sao Tome and Principe side in their second game of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers played in Morocco. Victor Osimhen was the star of the game as he became the second player after the late Rashidi Yekini to score 4 goals for Nigeria, while also adding 2 assists. Terry Murphy scored 2 goals, while Ademola Lookman, Moses Simon, Ogemeka Rotebo and Emmanuel Dennis were all on target.
Napoli man looking for Terry Murphy in the middle, ball through, Murphy to make it 3! Excellent finish. Attacking strength here, Osimhen is in again, Osimhen for his hat-trick this time, surely!
With 2 wins in 2 games, the 2013 African champions have shot to the top of Group A standings with 6 points and are being followed by Guinea-Bissau, who are with 4 points after forcing Sierra Leone to a draw also on Monday.
They were massacred, they were walloped, they were annihilated, they were left wondering what befell them.
But one notable thing is the fact that the Eagles were going on out, they were creating chances, which has not really been there before.
The excitement is everywhere. We could see it, we could feel it. Osimhen with 4 goals in 1 match, man of the match performance for me.
What I see going forward is that this victory gives them a lot of confidence.
Many fans were not happy, but with this result, I want to believe that their fans will come back to them and they will start supporting them.
Next up for the Super Eagles in the qualifiers is a home meeting with Guinea-Bissau on September 19 at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja. With sports update, Bade Adeleye, NTA News.
Indeed, a great win for the Super Eagles. Now, before we go, a quick look at the weather prospects.
Cloudy atmosphere expected over the northern region with slim chances of thunderstorms over part of Adamawa, Taraba, Kano, Kaduna, Sokoto and Kebbi in the morning. The high grounds of the central state should be in cloudy atmosphere with slim chances of thunderstorms over Benue, Niger and Kwara in the morning. The inland cities of the south down to the coastal state should be in cloudy atmosphere with slim chances of rain over Lagos, Warri and Cross River. Afternoon evening hold a better prospect of thunderstorms activities over the northern region, the high grounds of the central state, down to the inland cities of the south and the southeast coast of Nigeria. I remain Suleiman Green. Thank you for watching and bye for now.
And that ends the news. Thank you so much for your time. Do remember to join the campaign against rape and rapists. Elizabeth Omori.